See, I'm never three or five or $6,000 to $10,000 more than anybody else. I might be three or four or five or six or $10,000 different than anybody else.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, great to have you back with us again. This is part 2 of an earlier Cracking the Code session we had with Mr. Drew Cameron. Let's roll right back into it. You said something a minute ago that I think is worthy of circling back for a minute, and it's that in essence, HVAC contractors are actually the manufacturer for that homeowner's HVAC system. And I always like to tell homeowners, I say, listen, your HVAC system is everything from grills and registers back to and including the equipment that you think, I don't say it this way to them, but that you think is the system. No, it's just a piece of the system, and we're the assembly plant, right? We're just pieces and parts, and those pieces or parts are picked and assembled by us. And you said another thing, and this is something I think a lot of contractors miss. And I used to like drill this into our people's heads back in the days when I was running my dad's business, is that the minute we touch the doorknob, we own the result in that house. Now, the fact that we didn't put the duct system in originally because it was done by some residential new construction guy makes no difference. We now are responsible for it, right? Because if it doesn't work, they're going to call us. They're not going to call the guy that built the house. They're going to call us and say, I'm still not comfortable in my master bedroom. We got to get this resolved. You said you were going to do it. It's not resolved. Well, and then you find out it's the duct system, because it ain't the equipment's fault, y'all. It's not the manufacturer of the equipment.
The equipment is just parts, right? They're the biggest parts, and they're the most expensive parts, but they're just parts. They're no more important than the PVC, the gas piping, the electrical, the condensate pump, or anything else that we put in, right? You've been made as contractors to believe that that's the case. It's just not true, okay? It's not accurate. You may believe it and it might be true for you, but it's just not accurate, right? The reality is you have your former colleague and coworker, David Richardson, over at National Comfort Institute, and he put a system in years ago. And I remember a story he wrote in Contracting Business Magazine where the customer came back after the fact and he basically said, hey, we're going to make things comfortable, more energy efficient throughout the house. And he put the system in, did what he was supposed to do, did exactly what he sold to the customer, what the customer was buying, but the customer came back and said they weren't happy. And they went out and they checked the whole entire system and the operation of the system, and everything was functioning and performing the way that it was supposed to. But the customer still complained about comfort in the kitchen and the master bathroom. And so what they found was gaping holes below one of the kitchen cabinets where the Gen Air pipe had gone through the floor, right? And so cold air was just kind of coming into the kitchen into the kitchen space. David didn't build a house, and David's not responsible for that, and it had nothing to do with David's job. Right. Same held true in the master, primary bedroom suite. Right. There was a big gaping hole where the jacuzzi tub pipes and pump were installed, and a gaping hole allowing attic air to kind of come flooding down from above into the bathroom. Right. So the customers, all they know is, I'm not comfortable. I hired you. You told me you were going to make me comfortable. I understand that may have nothing to do with this, but you told me you're going to do it. So what did David have to do? David had to go fix it. He had to go fix the house free of charge. Right. Because something that he didn't do, but I agree with you, as soon as you touch the home, the doorknob, you're responsible, right? And so you're responsible for everything that every clown in town did before you ever got there, right? And so just go do your job, right? If you do your job at the level that the customer expects you to do your job, then they can do their job, and they can make an informed and intelligent decision to buy a larger scope of work for more money, which is different than some other clown in town selling maybe similar equipment for a lesser price. See, I'm never three or five or $6,000 to $10,000 more than anybody else. I might be three or four or five or six or $10,000 different than anybody else. And it's those differences that make the difference in the home. And how did I get there? With the tools, right? The tools allowed me to do my diagnostic job. I spend as much time as I need in a home. People ask me, how long does it take you to run a sales call? As long as it takes, right? To do my job and do it properly. Hey, I understand the last 3 guys who came into your house may have been in and out of the house in less than 30 minutes or to an hour, right? And I'll apologize on behalf of our industry for people taking the shortcuts that they do. But the only way for me to do my job is to do my job. And the only way I know how to do my job is the way I do my job, right? And so it may take a little bit longer than you expected, but never any less time than it should. It may cost a little bit more money than you thought, but never less money than it should. Think about it this way. You were in business for a long time, as was I. I always told customers, I'm not here to sell you anything you don't want, you don't need, you can't afford, or doesn't make sense. Number one. Number two is, you're the person who has to live here with your choices, right? I don't care what you do as long as you do it knowingly. Now that's my job, is to make sure you know what needs to be done and why it needs to be done and what it's going to cost to address it. It's expensive to buy a house. It's expensive to own it, maintain it, upgrade it, replace things as you need to. We understand this. Most customers tell us they can't afford to get this wrong. And we understand that. So I'm going to take the time that I need to take to do my job so that you can do your job. Right. And if I have that upfront, honest conversation with a customer before I go execute my process, which I teach in the design principles classes and the sales classes that I do for EGIA, if I tell a customer that, more often than not, these customers are like chomping at the bit, right, to hear what I got to say, because no one else did what I had to do. That doesn't mean I win them all, no, right? But more often than not that I do, because they see me as being something different. And it's my process with the tools and technology that allow me to separate myself from the marketplace. And yes, then my scope of work is different. Typically, the warranties and guarantees are different, because like you said a little bit earlier, I can promise in writing certain things that nobody else can, because I did my due diligence, and I'll bet on my people, my processes, every day and twice on Sunday.
And that is absolutely the difference maker, isn't it? And so what we have to do as leaders in our organizations is we have to empower and equip our team, our people, with the tools and training tools. One of the tools is a process, right? We're not just talking physical tool. Process is a tool as well. So it's with the tools and training needed to be successful in the role for which we are paying them. So I want to make sure my service techs are the best service techs on the planet, because that's what my customers deserve. I want my installers to be the best installers on the planet, because that's what my customers deserve. I want my salespeople to be trained properly, communicated properly, because that's what my customers deserve, right? So we always focused on making sure we looked through the eyes of the customer, and we said, look, our customers deserve ultimate indoor comfort. That's what we're going to be delivering. In order for you to deliver ultimate indoor comfort, you need to understand that the box that we're trying to condition cannot be cannot be comfort controlled unless we can contain the air in the box. So the Richardson story you talked about a minute ago, they had a container problem, right? The box itself that we're trying to contain and keep comfortable had some flaws in it that, unbeknownst to them, David and his team, they didn't see it, right? So when you think about tools, you mentioned infrared cameras. That would be my go-to first tool, is walk through the entire house, especially on a really cold day or really hot day, where you can see the temperature differences throughout the house and say, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. That exact tool saved my butt on a job where a guy
But it's also like showing the customer, hey, it's
exactly.
not just me looking at it. It's like, hey, Mr. Customer, look at this.
Yeah, come look. Yeah, exactly. In fact,
Right?
give it to them. Let them go walk around,
Yeah.
because they're going to take you right to where the problem areas are, because they already know. They just didn't know what was going on behind the scenes, right? We're
Yeah.
exposing that. We're making it visible. So we're making
And I don't even
temperature.
have to bash the competition. I can just say, I know you said you had a couple other companies come in here. Nobody else talked to you about this? Nobody else pointed that out to you? No, they didn't. Oh, gee. I apologize. I
Yeah.
apologize on behalf of our industry. I'm not sure why there are certain people who take these shortcuts that they do, but
Yeah.
we hear it time and time again. And I tell customers, I've been in business, I've been in the industry for a long, long time, and I have a lot of pride and integrity as to what we do and how we do what we do to get the results that we get. And it really breaks my heart when customers like yourself are exposed to other companies that don't do what they're supposed to do.
Absolutely
And
right.
and so I don't have to bash anybody, but my job is to help the customer see what they need to see, make them aware of what you were talking about a little bit earlier, what the standard is, right? Your standard for excellence and quality and comfort and health and safety and happiness, those are standards,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
And so your people and your processes allow you to achieve your standard. Now that doesn't mean everybody wants to pay for the whole standard or the Cameron standard, and that's
Correct.
okay.
Yep. That's
Right.
right.
But that
That's
doesn't
right.
mean that I change who I am. Like I said, it's not even what I do, David. we've talked about this on another call as well. It's not what I do, it's who I am. It's an identity. I can't not be me, right?
You could try, but
Try,
it would be seen, it would be viewed, it would be noticed, right? Somebody would say, that guy's trying to be something he's not, right? Because the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the next month, the next year, the next 10 years, right? In how we do our job. And you've mentioned a couple times training, and you and I think you and Russ Horrocks have some training coming up here pretty quick in the Dallas area. Tell us a little bit about that and what people can expect.
Yeah, we call it the Sales Boot Camp, April 7th and 8th in Dallas, Texas. Make sure you come in on the 6th and don't leave before 6 o'clock. Make sure your flight's after 6 p.m. on the 8th. We're going to do 2 full days instead of 3 like we did in the past, 3.5 in the past. And it's just Russ and I. And we're going to basically take what we teach in the content that exists online. We'll take subsets of some of that stuff, right? But we've enhanced it with a whole bunch of new training and support resources and tools and information around tools and technology, around how to sell the money, which is financing or payment options and things like that, how to be compelling and tap into customers' emotional currency, in the home, how to separate yourself from every other clown in town that's out there, right? As we've kind of talked about already on this call. And we'll help you troubleshoot your entire process. We'll have probably usually well over 100 people, allow for tabletop discussions and networking as well. And so you learn not only from obviously the teachers, but you learn from your peers as well in the group, and you'll be able to get hands-on support and questions being asked from, I think, the 2 top trainers in the country. I think Russ and I are the 2 top sales trainers and technicians, communication trainers in the country. If we didn't believe that, then you shouldn't come. So
that's right. That's right. And
right?
If we didn't believe that, it wouldn't be on the EGIA stage. So we appreciate you guys being a part of the faculty.
Yep. So, please show up April 7th and 8th in Dallas, Texas. And we will help you basically get ready for the summer and help you basically take your process, to the next level so that you can have a great summer. You can take care of more people better.
And that's a really good thing. I'll go ahead and give you a heads up. I'm going to have a couple of my coaches in the back of the room that definitely want to learn what you guys are teaching so that we can help contractors implement what you guys are teaching as well. So we're going to have the full team there, and it's going to be a really, really strong event. I know as of this recording, there are seats available. So if you haven't already, go ahead and get signed up on EGIA Contractor University's website, mycontractoruniversity.com. And hang out with Drew and Russ for a couple of days, and you'll walk away a better person, because it's our responsibility to get better. It's not the customer's responsibility to know this stuff. It's our responsibility. And to the extent that we can communicate the value that we're delivering, which is what they're going to teach you, how do you communicate the value that you're delivering in a compelling way so the customer feels comfortable, so that they trust you to make the right decisions for their safety, health, comfort, and efficiency, and so that they can live the ultimate life within their own house as well. So we appreciate everything you guys are doing and in helping the industry be better tomorrow than it is today in everything that you do, Drew. And we appreciate you as also a board member at EGIA, and appreciate the guidance that you give our team going forward, and will continue to for years to come. So thanks for all that, man.
You go. Appreciate it, David. Thank you.
You bet. All right. That's another Cracking the Code episode, ladies and gentlemen. And tell you what, keep on watching. Keep on watching these Cracking the Code episodes. Like, share, subscribe, do all those fun things so we can help share the wisdom of our team with the industry that we all love and make it better as well. So do your part. Watch these things, pass them along to others within your organization, but for sure, like, share, and subscribe so that others within the industry will see this information, and we can help all of them be better tomorrow than they are today. This is David Holt and Drew Cameron. See you later. This is Cracking the Code.